Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play set in the Eberron campaign world. This is a Khyber Shards Answers episode, which you probably know because it's Friday, and it was labeled as such, and you're clever. Today we have Colin, player of Pog, in the studio. I only just now realized that I'm still wearing the goggles.
Love it.
And I'm just going to go with it.
Commit to the bit, dude.
We just recorded a bunch of episodes, and it's late, so I'm almost certainly punchy. But we're going to go for it.
We should have made the call to record this before. So much for just run a couple tight, real quick episodes and get in and out, and then we'll do a KSA. It'll be easy.
There's no such thing as a tight session of D&D. It just sprawls. It's just how it is.
I'm learning
That's
this.
fine. Yep. All right, so our most recent episode, Hot Pursuit. I want to know, because, and I know this happened in this episode, but I haven't gotten to talk to you in this context about this. I want to know, at what point did Colin decide, you know what, Pog would just go for it?
So we're talking about like the overall plan. At what point did Colin decide?
Like the overall. I'm just gonna get the map now. You guys went to case the joint. At what point did Pog decide, or did you decide that Pog would just go for it?
When we saw how it was contained. Honestly, like it was. It's just in a display case, as far as Pog can tell. Player didn't try to tell anything special. I can't detect magic, so as far as Pog could see, yeah, it's just here in this case, like one of those, nice enough comic books that we see at the store. And I can break that. Yeah, I'm gonna break that, and we'll get it and be done. There was a sense of urgency for Pog, and there's been some evolutions that have occurred, but people he cared about are endangered, and we're making a decision to do a thing. So Pog's gonna do it. We're going for it. It needs done, and Pog's a doer. Not to mention, earlier that morning, as far as any of us are concerned, he found out he can become invisible. So, I can do a thing. I can probably do it now because I'm supposed to do it now. So let's do it. That is all. And the conversation with Esri just kind of felt like a reinforcement of the plan. This is the way it's going to have to go either way. So, yeah, what are we waiting for? Let's do it.
Cool. So we get in, we sneak around. We are not successful in undoing any locks.
That's true.
So this episode, the chase, I want, like, the thing that I remember just finding so awesome in the moment was Pog's reaction to Falco being the one in the alley. Where did that come from? Like, how did you? That was just so perfect in the moment.
It was honestly just an attempt at full mental role play. The idea of that's why through the whole time I just asked, what can I hear? Never looking back. It was only moving forward. A couple turns, and the last thing you would expect when you turn into that situation is someone that being in pursuit of you, hostile, because nobody called from behind like, wait up, I'm here to help, or quick, I know a way out. This dude's here to wreck my shop, and for it to be someone much less someone you haven't thought of in so long, that has so much weight to your personal history, while also doing this for Tommel. Everything from the past is so much worse than it was. And so, oh my God, this guy, the why you was kind of to the universe. Like, why are you here? Why does it have to be you? Yeah, that was a fun moment of realization to play. For sure.
Yeah, that was a delight. I really liked that confrontation. That went, it had a good narrative beat to it, and the growth of Pog's mark. The growth of Pog's mark finally, finally finding the moment for it. I did say, I said this off the air when Casey and I were recording one, because the episode where it hadn't come out yet, that I had thought after the recording of the episode where you actually were in the shop and break through the glass, you had a low roll somewhere in there, and I don't remember exactly which thing it was on, but you had a really low roll somewhere, and I thought afterwards, man, that would have been a really funny moment to have him panic and have his mark go. But I like
hit with a
better.
shade. Yeah, no, this worked, and it's been really fun. It was a great moment for what you and I are building narratively, which is so much uncertainty in what's happening with Pog. To not know what's happening down this ancestral line that's being built, the evolution happening without his awareness. To me, it made as much sense as any of the evolution. I mean, it really made me think of when Shades, the first explosive outburst happened, just being in awe of how that heightened the level of we've never done anything like this before, caused that to blow up. We've got old boy on the ground. We've got corpses. We've got a weird witch lady controlling zombies, and just so much that made great narrative sense that would be the breaking point for Pog's mark. That it would expand from that. So yeah, I thought it worked really well.
I think the moment where I felt most just self-satisfied was, I have found apparently I really get a kick out of this as a GM, is when the players are all going, what is happening? Because just watching everyone's faces when suddenly a pile of corpses come off the roof.
Dude, I've got to say that as a player, that is your master stroke talent, because you've done that to us. I mean, in this short amount that we've played, grand scheme of things, you've done it so well. And I mean, we had the appearance of it's the White Raven was his name, right?
Yeah.
Just dropping down, throwing batarangs, yoinking things, and just, wait, what now? Like, how is this happening? It's been, it's been just so satisfying. And the way that in that last episode happened was such a pleasure, because everyone learned something almost individually.
Yeah.
I had no idea who was chasing me. Shade was able to see someone that the others couldn't. Everyone had that, and then it worked out negatively for some, as we will see. It's so much fun to have those unexpected what the moments that it makes a lot of, in a world where, as a first timer who's just hit level 4 for the first time and needed to be assured that the arrival of my new feats would just not make sense, like you can be invisible now, just deal with it, it's fine. It's really been nice that those what is happening moments, you've been able to use them to inspire and explain growth.
Thank you.
It's been very fun.
Yeah, I think that's what I've said this before. I'm very fond of moments where the party splits, and I try very hard not to punish parties for splitting up. I know some DMs will really try to discourage that. And that's a different style of play. I just really like it because it allowed everyone to have an entirely different perspective on what was happening, and to be doing an entirely different thing. And since you don't have any means of on the fly communicating over distance when you can't see each other over substantial distance anyway, you've got a little bit with the telepathy, but everyone having a little piece of the puzzle, so that when the zombies show up, Pog doesn't know that Shade's been following this person on the roof. She's a total absolute mystery to him. Pog doesn't know that Falco's there. So yeah, I like everyone having a piece, but not being able to put them together always in the moment.
It's very satisfying on a level of role play. It's just really, really satisfying. I'm enjoying that approach very much.
Good. Well, I'm glad. All right. Well, we have a handful of viewer questions.
Hooray! People watch us.
Yes, people watch us, and some of them want to know more about your character. The first comes from Mia.
Hi, Mia.
Who hosts our delightful Khyber Shards watch party over on her Discord. So this is for Colin. Do you ever struggle with how, she puts it in quotes, simple to role play Pog? He's obviously not dumb, and I wonder if it's difficult for you to walk that line.
Yes. To answer the second part, it is difficult. How difficult varies. And I think simple is a very good way of explaining it, because if we look at the character sheet, Pog is low on intelligence, but not lacking in wisdom. You know, he may not know especially how to communicate his thoughts, but he's not lacking in having reasonable and well fleshed out thoughts. I just, more than anything, I try to avoid him feeling stupid. That's what I don't, that's not interesting to me. As a player, playing someone who's just functionally dumb is not interesting. And so if I had to have one word to explain, it's probably just innocent. And if not that, it would be earnest. It's just plain earnestness. All the little funny moments that I've been gifted with in conversation have all come from just not understanding a point and wanting to.
Yeah.
Or thinking you don't understand my point and wanting you to. And so that's the line for me, is most of it is in communication. Our moment that I was able to have this evening that I thought was pretty funny, it came from not understanding what was being asked of me.
Yeah.
You know, you're wrong is all. And I think that's the way I play it. And I'm enjoying that because it also allows room for growth in that.
Yeah.
You know, he's gotten better at communicating, specifically with the party and also with others that we've seen him interact with. You know, he's gotten better at talking to people from talking to Carl to where he gets when talking to Mrs. B. You know, we're not good, but we're better.
Yeah.
And that's just true earnestness.
Cool. Laura asks, Colin, did you expect Esri to go along with your map nabbing plans so quickly?
That's a good question. Kind of, actually. Esri has been, up until that point, kind of called out for not being with it, you know, not wanting to I don't even know how to fully explain. Almost just being more having more avoidance to taking action. And I felt like after the conversation that we'd had in the treehouse that, you go back to the first conversation of Ezri with Mrs. B and that threat at the end of that first encounter. When something matters to Ezri, he's defensive. He's very action forward. He's also the only one that went back and actually had contact with the Rubble Warren gang. Those children he connected with, that interaction impacted him. And while I feel like the party as a whole was definitely under pressure from Tommel's situation that we've been placed in, Pog and Shade have shown themselves as being ones that go, yep, all right, let's do a thing. And you put Ezri in a position where his back is in a corner and the people that he cares about are on the line. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised. Had it been Ari that went with Pog to the map store, I think we would have had a much different kind of situation.
Yeah.
Had it been Shade, I think Shade would have just been the one that we snuck in.
Yeah.
But I think that in that particular moment, especially when we asked you what time of day it was, and we found that we couldn't get to the treehouse and back. If we're doing it today, we do it right now. Then yeah, I'm actually not that surprised that he went along.
Cool.
More surprised with how he handled it inside and some of the straws he grasped at in trying to make sure that the plan went according. And Laura then asks you, Philip, was it surprising when they just went in and grabbed it without telling half the party, or is this the Pog planning expectation from now on?
It really was surprising. I did not expect that. I already knew what the situation was in the map shop as far as security, so I wasn't caught entirely flat-footed, which was nice. But yes, I was absolutely surprised. I was delighted, I want to make clear. I think it's fairly obvious on my face if you watch that scene that I was absolutely delighted. I love when characters just go for it. I love when, fear of failure be darned and just, go for it. I like that. It's fun. It's actiony, and I tend to enjoy that. But I also like being surprised by players. I like it when players do something that I just didn't expect, and I have to figure out how to roll with it, with them. So yeah, I was absolutely surprised. I didn't expect that they would go for it, and I was delighted that they did. As to whether this is now the Pog planning expectation from now on, I don't know. I'm here for it. but I'm not the right person to ask.
That's fair. So did you anticipate it being something that you gave us the 2-day deadline?
Yeah.
Is that something you anticipated that we were going to make full use of?
I wasn't sure. I don't know if saying I'm not necessarily, I don't know that I necessarily wish I had said tomorrow. Tomorrow might have honestly felt more in character in that moment. And I was kind of warring with Tommel's in the position of power here. He's being demanding, with, I want to give the players a reasonable amount of time to pull a heist. And I thought correctly, as it turns out, that you guys would want to try and find out a little bit about what you're stealing before stealing it. And so I kind of built in the day thinking that about things like when we end up going to the Wayfinders to try and learn a little bit about it. So that was kind of what I was thinking it was for, is to allow you guys space to do research if you wanted to, and yeah, I assumed there would be inevitably planning because I have run D&D and I know that D&D players do love a deep plan,
Right.
in general. So yeah, that was kind of what that was for. Is I wanted to make space for that, but no, I wasn't necessarily looking for you to use all the time. I just wanted to make some space for the players to approach it as they wished. So
Fair enough. It's funny to hear you use that word and only just now realize that the expectation was a heist when what was executed was just a smash and grab.
yeah, but
That
worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
You have the map,
Ish.
at least for the moment. You have the map. We'll see.
as,
for the moment,
as
you
it
got the map.
stands right now for y'all, we have, yeah. Well,
Laura wants to know what Pog's favorite animal is.
yes. Yes. Least favorite, a Kruthic so far. I don't know. I don't see Pog as being a person who would really be against many animals on principle. But from his upbringing, it would probably be as simple as a horse. Just the utility, that inherent relationship that comes from a person and their horse. It may be a disappointingly simple answer, but for Pog, yeah, I think a good mighty steed would probably be like the romantic adventure ideal,
Yeah, it fits his heroic image.
The statue of himself that he dreamed of being on the reared back horse, battle axe hoisted overhead, like that's the stuff that legends exist on, is on the back of a mighty steed. So yeah, that's going to be my answer there. And then she asked, what is Philip's favorite animal?
I also have a hard time. I don't really dislike any animals. I am allergic to cats, and so I have the tendency to avoid them, but that's not specifically out of dislike.
Right.
I have 2 dogs that you have probably, if you've been wondering what my arms have been doing during this recording,
Tugging.
It's late. Everybody else is in bed, and the dogs desire attention. You can, actually, I think Argos is even in frame. Look at that.
Hey, buddy.
I have 2 dogs, so obviously I like dogs. Favorite just animal in general. I have always been partial to raptors, to birds of prey. I think I will never have the opportunity to do this, but I think falconry would be the just crazy coolest hobby to have.
Yeah.
I will. There is no reason that I should ever expect to have the opportunity to do that, or the competence to keep and care for one.
It is rad though.
Yeah. But I really like birds of prey, of just about any kind. I think they're awesome looking. I think it's the most the most common way in which I am an unsafe driver is when we get a lot of red-tailed hawks and some smaller falcons around here, and seeing one perched on a telephone post or cruising along, and I will be driving along. I'll be like, yeah, that's probably my most frequent unsafe driving practice, is looking at a cool bird while it's going by. I'm pretty good about I don't text while driving, I don't do anything like that, but
I was on a whitewater rafting trip in high school in Washington, and saw an eagle scoop a salmon out of the river, and that memory only plays in slow motion. It's one of the most majestic things I have ever seen. So I definitely understand that. Like, there's just something so powerful It's really impressive. Yeah, I get it. I get
The
it.
mechanics of it are so very precise. It's just, it's very cool. What's Colin's? Just since Pog got asked and I got asked.
That's fair. My favorite animal would, man, I'm so basic. I love dogs. I love them. I do. I mean, I'm biased. You've known Cortana her entire existence, and she has been the best dog. Sorry, fellow dog owners. It's a close battle for second, but Cortana's the best dog. And I've had a really blessed life with our family dogs growing up. Outside of that, in the exotics, I have to keep going with just basic. The lion is just the exact opposite. Go big cat. It's just there's something that the true wildness of it is almost just overwhelming in its majesty. The intelligence, the physical capability, the presence that they carry. It's just something to behold. So yeah, that's real animal dog. Daily, every day. Yeah, I'm a dog person. The majesty, I'm going lion. I love a lion.
Awesome.
That's it. There you go, Laura.
There we go. All right. Well, those are all of our questions. So just a couple today. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. New episode coming this Monday, continuing from right up where we left off with the continued escape attempt. So
this is that smooth sailing episode, right? This is the one that everything's just cool. Isn't that the way it went?
You don't want to miss this episode. This is a really
for real.
This is a really awesome, intense episode. So check it out Monday.
Things happen.
Things do.
Whew.
Things do. Khyber Shards answers drop on Friday. I announced last Khyber Shards answers that I was taking entries for a drawing from which I will draw to design a villainous lieutenant to plague the characters. I have gotten a couple so far. If you have a villainous lieutenant you'd like to see show up in some form on Khyber Shards, leave it in the comments below. And in a little bit here, I will pick one, and it'll be fun. Well, I'll draw one randomly because how else do you do it fairly, right? But
that's true.
And we'll add it into Khyber Shards in some form at some point. So do leave that in the comments below. You can also find below in the description links to all of our various social medias, including our Discord, where we take Khyber Shards answers questions, though we will also take them in comments. You'll also find a link to Colin's Twitch, where he is twitch.tv/sorrybtr, and streams delightfully whenever life so allows. And I believe that is all the information I have for you right now.
All the news that's fit to print.
That's right. In the meantime, this has been Khyber Shards, and thanks for rolling with us.
Bye!